Here are 7 items that are most likely on your must-bring to camp list. But guess what? They're not on my list.
Once you see this, you'll rethink half the gear you're dragging around. Most campers pack things just because everyone else does. But out here, in reality, that thinking only wastes space, weight, time, and money. I'm all about ditching the bulky shit or gear that actually earns its place, either by doing 2 jobs instead of 1, or being far more versatile. There are just better options out there.
Most campers wouldn't even question these first 2 items, but Ronny does, and his take might challenge your own thinking.
The table. How did we put this in when we left? I don't bring a table anymore. And the reason for that, look at this big, bulky thing. The space it takes up. When I use it, it's not really me that uses it, it's everyone else. It's a magnet for all your mate's shit. Everyone else gravitates their shit towards the table. Hey mate, can you grab your shit?
Yourself, mate.
Fine.
Doesn't mean I don't use table space.
So if you have a ute with a canopy, or even no canopy, you just got a tray, you're gonna have some kind of bench space, table space somewhere. Tailgate. It's a table, a seat, it's a bench. So I have a table anyway. Even with a wagon. Table on the door. So in that sense, I do have a table, but I technically don't bring a big flat table. I bring a bench. Behold the bench. With a bench, you can put it close to the fire, perfect height when you're sitting on a stool, or even a camp chair. Takes up little to no room, functions as a table. Have you ever tried sitting in a camp chair with a normal camping table? It's a real awkward height, isn't it? Oh shit, look at that. Oh my God. This is a really awkward height. How good's the bench? But there's something I'm sitting in that I also no longer use. I don't use the chair anymore. The stool, much better than the chair in my opinion. I know what you're thinking. I can't lean back and relax.
I initially bought them for quick convenience, but then found myself rather using the stools than anything else.
It's not that I don't like chairs. I can get quite comfortable in one of these chairs and just chill. You can't sit like I'm sitting here in a normal chair because the chairs are slanted, you're sitting back. To sit like this, forward and do things around the fire isn't as comfortable in this chair. This is a relaxing chair. It's not a chair to just pull out anywhere. So I'm not being hypocritical here. Let's get rid of this. I bring my stool. It's so much easier. Takes up no room. Doesn't need to go in a special place. It fits so well in my wheel bag on a 76. Inside the Grenadier's canopy, it slips straight under the swag. There are 2 stools. This lightweight little camping stool just about tucks into any tight place. Between boxes, on top of other gear. Tight, squeezy places. That's why I like a stool better. So where people wouldn't be pulling out a chair, I would still be pulling out a stool. So I'm actually sitting down more than I ever used to.
It doesn't always come down to comfort. It also comes down to how much space do you have left to throw stuff in.
So depending on how much room you have in your car, more chance of fitting this, or the stool in fact, over a chair.
As the sun drops below the horizon, we need light. The more light, the better, right? Not according to Ronny.
Wired up camp lights? Oh my God. I'm not talking about spotties and roof driving lights. If you need driving lights, you need driving lights. But when you're camping, nah. People put a lot of lights on their roof rack, either side of the vehicle, at the back. If you're using it for camping, what's the point? It kills the vibe at camp. They're always so freaking bright and you can't really adjust them. And yes, I know you could put it on like a pivot mount or something, but guess what? Corrugations, that mount is going to get loose and then you're going to have something rattling on your roof.
Been rattled loose again.
You might be thinking, well, what do I do then? What am I going to use? Magnetic lights. There are so many different brands out there that do magnetic lights now. And I understand you might have an aluminium car, so where are you going to put it? You might have alloy doors. There's always some steel somewhere. So you don't have the dual holes in your car. That's when you get leaks. Even electricians drill holes into your car to fit these things. With Chris, who's now got the Bloopy, his Prado,
the electricians that did the work on that, they actually drilled holes through the back door.
It looked awesome to start with, but then all the mounting bits started rusting and then it came loose and there was plastic everywhere and I wanted to switch things around and it all just got really difficult.
If you're going to put any light in the exterior of your car, I understand that light bars and things like that, they help you driving. But a camp light, the last thing you want at camp is bright stadium lights, man. It just ruins the whole mood. Hey mate, what's up? Why are you covering your eyes? Oh, sorry mate.
Just bring portable lights.
Which button is it again?
And the best spot, in my opinion, is underneath the vehicle. It illuminates the ground. You can still retain your night vision. You got a nice fire going. You got the stars. Why blind the shit out of your sight and you can't enjoy everything?
Even a dolphin torch is less offensive than a real head torch. So this will actually be a much smarter idea. You're not going to blind everyone so offensively.
Shit.
240 volt power in the bush? Turn your car into a household power station. You know what I'm gonna say. Ronnie doesn't think so.
I'm just saying what I wouldn't use. There's nothing wrong with having a 2000 watt inverter, if that's your thing. But in the 20 years that I've been camping, I've never needed anything more than 150 watts to about 350 watts. That's it. And I never use an inverter that's more than 350 watts. With this inverter here being 1800 watts, you could almost run a vacuum cleaner off that one. I just don't see the need for it. Unless you have a coffee machine.
You weren't talking shit.
Induction cooking, something that requires that many watts to run it, you don't need a big inverter. Not only that, think about all the wiring you got to do. In fact, my Troopy, I was going to install a 1500 watt inverter. And then I saw the thickness of the cabling and all this that I needed. And I was like, you know what? What am I even doing with this?
All I'm really doing is charging camera gear. I'm not going to make a coffee with it.
I went and got a 350 watt inverter instead, slapped that into the Troopy. And that did my power needs absolutely fine.
You might be thinking, how is that even possible? Well, here is something that I don't think many people actually understand. Here's our vehicle battery, DC power. Here's our chargers for a laptop and a UHF radio. Unfortunately, we got AC household power points. That's not going to work on that. So what do? Most people do this. The inverter. This converts 12 volt DC power into 240 volt, the same power you got at home, and you can now plug into these outlets. Like this and like this. This setup, if you're going for a 2000, is going to cost you a lot of moolah. But what if I told you you didn't even need this? The charger you have for your camera converts it into DC power. So what you're essentially doing, charging devices that need DC power, it doesn't really make sense to use AC power in the middle of it. You might as well get a DC version of a charger that can run straight off 12 volt. In fact, most of this gear, if it runs on battery, it'll have a DC charger. Sickie plugs. Simply replace your AC PowerPoint chargers with the appropriate DC PowerPoint chargers. And now you've got DC power the entire way through. No need to convert power with an inverter. Then you don't even need this one. Unless you've got household items you want to run, egg beater or cake mixer or a bread bloody cooker, you don't need an inverter.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. All right, Ronnie, what the heck now?
Here's something that I do not use, ever, and that's bug spray. Mosquito spray. When you're camping and you're on the road for days on end, you'll soon realise that...
This is as bad as I've had it for a while. Flies, that is.
Where's Jaden? He's sitting in the car, he doesn't like flies.
Insect repellent does nothing. It doesn't matter what you use. This does not work. If anything, it actually attracts more insects than it repels.
Why do they love us?
No idea.
Moisture.
Moisture.
It's water going through your eyes and your mouth.
Not much you can do about the flies apart from wearing, perhaps, a fly net. But what about mosquitoes?
So what works? What I'm wearing works. You may have noticed, it doesn't matter how hot or cold it is, you always catch me wearing a long sleeve shirt and pants. So if you don't like getting bitten by mozzies, this is your option. This stuff here, you can lather yourself up in, holy shit, 40% DEET if you like. I've tried in the past, just doesn't work. I'll be right, thanks.
A billy can? Hang on. He definitely uses a billy can. All right, what's the catch, mate?
We're at a place called Tiger Eye, just outside Tom Price.
Billy cans.
I do use billy cans, but just not aluminium in particular, and some stainless steel ones with plastic lids.
The reason why I don't carry those anymore is because You forget about them and the aluminium burns, and once you overheat an aluminium billy can, it'll melt if there's nothing in it, but also leach metals or aluminium into your food. Am I poisoning myself? I don't know. Am I? What I do prefer to use now, titanium. You can heat it up really, really freaking hot. Does not leach anything. It's lightweight, so these 3 billy cans weigh less than that, and they cool down way faster. So you can in fact put these away really quick. So this has been great on the canning stock route. We pull up somewhere, have a fire on a track, billy's on, ball up a billy, maybe make some food and something else. We're pretty much done. We pack away and we go. 12:15 this way.
A war against 12-volt showers.
Surely he's not giving up on washing, unless...
So the showers you can buy at any camp store, these small compact things. Here's a leftover of one of my older ones. They are worthless. They will work for the first time, but after a while, they won't work. The problem with these showers, they get wet, you pack it away, and they're quite compact. And because it attracts a lot of moisture, obviously, because it's a shower, somehow the motors and stuff get wet, and you don't always pull everything out after a camping trip, right? Which means that later on, shit just fails. You're all set up, all soaped up, and here you go. So I go to the length of making my own, and this is where it starts taking up more room than a compact shower would do. But the thing is, if you want to have a reliable shower in the bush, I suggest making your own.
It might sound a bit odd to suggest building your own shower kit, but it's actually pretty easy. As long as you know how to hook up a couple of hoses and you spend some time through the gardening aisle, you'll know where to find a good shower rose head, and pair that up with a ready-to-use 12-volt caravan water pump, something with good pressure but not too much obviously, because then you've got no water left. It'll last you for a very long time. But it's not for everyone. So for most people, grab a simple shower bag with no pump at all.
Because compact ones do not work. You'll find yourself standing in your shower tent, soaked in soap, and your shower stops working. Have fun with that. I want to know, what do you leave behind that most people would take with them? What do you agree with on my list? And is there someone that disagrees with my entire list? And look, this is my opinion, and my travel style is very different. For example, the chair, I'm expecting most people to be like, nah, man, you need a chair. I rarely sit around. I'm always on the move.